Hello students, last time in statistics we discussed measures of dispersions. We just discussed some theory about the dispersions. What is the dispersions? That is the spread from the averages. And in dispersions, which topic we learn? We discuss the range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, and standard deviation. And that is the absolute measures and all relative measures. That's a relative range, relative quartile deviation, relative mean deviation, and relative standard deviation. And we say it's a coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, coefficient of mean deviation, and coefficient of standard deviations. So today we'll discuss one of them, that is the range. What is the range? So in simple things we can say the difference between the highest observations and the lowest observations. Difference between the highest observation and lowest observations, that is called a range. So for the formula, the range R is equal to XH minus XL. Again repeat कर रहा हूँ, range क्या है? The range is the difference between the highest observations, यानी कि highest observation की जो value है and the value of the lowest observations. It is called a range. It shows the means range से हमें वो पता चल रहा है कि जो हमारे means डेटा है वो कितने स्प्रेड है, कितनी नंबर्स तक यानी कि वो स्प्रेड है, we can get from the range. And the relative range, that is called coefficient of range. Again that's a coefficient relative, that is the relative measures, and the range is the absolute measures, the difference between two values. It shows the absolutes and the relative shows the ratio between two things. So by dividing the range with XH plus XL, that means addition of highest and the lowest observations, यानी जितने भी spread है total वो, so we can get the relative range. So coefficient of range or relative range is equal to XH minus XL divided by XH plus XL, and that's called R divided by XH plus XL. That's very simple. कुछ typical है नहीं, बहुत ही simple है. So here the XH is equal to, so X is equal to the largest value of the observations or the highest observations, largest or the highest value of the observation, and XL is equal to smallest or lowest, largest value or the smallest value or the lowest value observation. So that's very simple, कुछ typical है नहीं. Now we'll see some examples of range and relative range. We know very well we have the data of ungrouped data or group data. The group data, we have two type of distributions, that's called discrete distributions or discrete frequency distribution or continuous frequency distributions. So in case of discrete frequency distribution also we get the highest or largest value of observations, but in case of continuous frequency distributions we get the, see we know very well that is the class interval is there. So from the first class, the lower limit of the first class and the upper limit of the last class, we'll take the upper limit, the difference between the upper limit of last class minus lower limit of first class. It shows the range of the continuous, means any range of the continuous frequency distributions. So now we'll start check some sums and we understand the properly what is the range and what it shows. So orally कर लेंगे 15, 20, 35, 8, 13, 45, 6. So now from these observations, suppose we want to find the range. Suppose we want to find the range. Just a 15, 20, 35, 8, 43, then 45, 8, okay, और ये हो गया 48, 1. Now to find the range, R is equal to XH minus XL. So seeing this observation or observing the value of observations 15, 20, 35, 8, then 13, 14, 6 or 48. So which is the lowest value? 46 is, and which one the highest value? Is the 48. So the range is equal to 48 minus 6 is 42. And suppose you want to find the relative range, so the coefficient of range is equal to R divided by XH plus XL. Now put the value and you will get the answer. जैसे कि ये 42 है, हाईएस्ट वैल्यू कितना है 48 प्लस 6, तो 48 plus 6 कितना हो रहा है 54. Then the addition of 54 is the 42 divided by 54. That is the answer. Say 42, that's the range is 42, or the difference between is 54. Now we can easily find 9 into 6, 7 into 6. So 6 cut कर लो, तो 7 by 9 and it's approximately 0.7 something आ रहा है. So the correlative range, so the coefficient of range is equal to around 0.77. That's a very simple. Or same way for the discrete or continuous. For the discrete and continuous, we will see the discrete and continuous frequency distribution. It's ungrouped or group data. Discrete frequency distribution. Now, I want to discuss one thing. Suppose यहाँ पे तुमने दो भी means you find the range, what it shows the what is the difference between the highest or lowest. The range we can find the difference between highest and lowest, but the coefficient of range क्या है? Suppose the value of coefficient of range is high or the low. If the high ज़्यादा है, तो it shows the observations are very far from each other. एक दूसरे से मीन्स ऑब्जर्वेशंस की वैल्यू क्या है? फार है. एंड द रिलेटिव रेंज, इट मींस कोएफिशिएंट रेंज इज वेरी लो, डाउन है, तो इट शोज द ऑब्जर्वेशंस आर नियरर टू ईच अदर और इट्स नॉट अ फार फ्रॉम ईच अदर. एक दूसरे से बहुत ही यानी कि स्प्रेड जो हुआ है, नॉट अ फार, इट्स द ऑब्जर्वेशन इज स्प्रेड very far from each other when the range correlative coefficient of range is large, and when the coefficient of range is low, it shows the spreadness of the observation is nearer to each other. So that is the help of range we can find the स्प्रेड ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन टू ईच अदर्स, एक दूसरे से कितने दूर है वो फाइंड करेंगे। फ्रॉम एवरेज कितना है, टू फाइंड द मीन डेविएशंस ऑल थिंग्स, फॉर क्वार्टाइल से कितने हैं तो क्वार्टाइल्स फाइंड करेंगे। विल सी फ्रॉम मीडियन और ऑल थिंग्स, we'll discuss later. First we'll see the discrete frequency distributions. So we know whenever it is discrete frequency distribution, the frequency doesn't matter. In that the number of frequency यानी कि कितनी है तुम्हारे पास 100, 200, 300, 400 वो में ज़्यादा मैटर नहीं करती है, but the observations are spread how much from each others, that's effect on the value of range. So here for example I will take the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 ये 15. So you have 2, 5, 7, 10, 8, 3. To find the range, so R is equal to XH minus XL. To seeing in XH, the highest value is 15, that is called XH. The lowest value is 10, that is called XL. Now we have XH and XL, both value. Now put the value in format. Now XH is equal to 15 minus 10 or is equal to 5. ये हो गया हमारा. Now relative range that is called a coefficient of range. Coefficient of range. XH minus XL divided by XH plus XL. Then R divided by XH minus XL we have value 5 and 15 plus 10 is equal to 5 by 25. It's a 1 by 5, 0.2. So see the coefficient of range is very low. See the observations is spread or nearer to each other. Means observations जो भी है वो एक दूसरे से बहुत ही नजदीक है. So with the help of range we can find the spread of the observation to each other. एक दूसरे observation से कितना spread हो रहा है, then we can find with the help of range or coefficient of relative means range. Now for continuous frequency distribution, range is very simple. Range is not tough things. It's only concept. In exam let's be maybe asked in 1 or 2 marks questions, not more than 3, 4 marks questions. Now see the range of continuous frequency distribution. Now continuous frequency distribution we know very well that 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60 and 60 to 70. Now 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. Now 10 to 20, 7, 2, 5, 10, 6, 4, 1. So again I say what happens, the frequency doesn't matter to find the range. So the highest value of the or the lowest value of the first class or highest value of the, but we can say that is the lower limit of the first class or the first interval of class and the upper limit of the last interval of class. So range R is equal to XH minus XL. So XH is equal to 70 minus 10, 60, or coefficient of range is equal to R divided by XH plus XL. So R is equal to 60 or XH plus XL is equal to 10 plus 7, 70 plus 10. So 60 divided by 80, double zero control, so 3 divided by 4, that shows 0.75. So the observations we can say it's far from the 20 to 70 observations. The observations are far from each other. So the coefficient of range is 0.75. So that's a very simple. Do the maximum practice of the range and coefficient of range, and we'll see the next point, quartile deviations or coefficient of quartile deviation in our next lecture. So thank you very much.